Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Romeko, and this is the first video on my channel. And so previously, I had a channel before on YouTube, and that channel was very much focused on content creation for Magic the Gathering by exploring decks, exploring different archetypes, and from time to time, pack openings. But given, life, work, family, kids, it's been really difficult to maintain that channel. And so the last time I think I made a video on there, it must have been over 10 years ago. And so I figured with some stability coming back into my life and, my kid getting a little bit older, I would try my hand at putting together YouTube videos again and see where that takes me, just for fun. This time around, I'm a little bit more financially well off, just given changes in work and progression in my career. And so, as you can see in front of me, there's definitely a lot more interesting things that I can do. And maybe, that also involves ways to engage the community with draws and giveaways and things like that if this channel happens to take off. But with that being said, I started a company called Chapter 1 Advisory. And in this company, I am really looking to do a few different things. One of them is advising around new technologies and capabilities, and how the evolution of artificial intelligence and technology is effectively changing the way that business is done. But beyond that, I think a second aspect of this business is really to go through consumer technology, games, and other hobbyist interests that I have and bring them to viewers as part of my channel as well. And so this is kind of an attempt at doing that. And I'm really excited for it, right? And to that end, I've been kind of holding on to a number of sealed Magic products, board games, Lego products, technology. Been just holding on to them over the last couple of years. And you know what? I'll even kind of show you guys what that looks like, right? And so if we kind of zoom up here, you can see over here, I've got a compendium of interesting books. I've got, the curio cabinet full of items. We've got a whole bunch of unopened Lego boxes, a number of very interesting hobbyist figures, as well as board games over here, books, comics, graphics novels, and a whole host of other reading material. Not the least of which includes Magic the Gathering items as well. And so, with that being said, collecting these treasure trove of items, keeping them sealed over the last few years, I most recently ended up buying a DJI Pocket 4. And part of why I did this is really because of the fact that I don't have a lot of time to spend editing, and this contraption and the creator kit that it comes with really makes this a very seamless process. And all of the video goes directly to your phone, and you can just use the DJI app to edit it, and then of course upload it directly to YouTube. So with that being said, I figured I would get started today by giving you a little bit of that background. And perhaps starting off this channel with a very, very cool opening of Strixhaven collector booster packs. And so a local gaming store near me called MyComX just opened up last September. And I met the gentleman, Scott, who owns that store very recently. And he was gracious enough to give me an excellent deal on the last remaining booster packs that he had left. And, I'm not someone who is a Magic snob by any stretch of the imagination, in only wanting to collect high rarity or card variants or anything like that. But I figured, if I'm going to start this channel, a really good way to kickstart the opening would be to unbox or unwrap something very valuable. And so I picked up these 3 collector booster packs. And of course, everyone knows in Magic the Gathering, these collector booster packs contain some very rare serialized cards, as well as things like different variants, foiling, and specifically as part of this Strixhaven set, there are Japanese mythical archive cards that are quite rare. And so it would be great to get something of that nature. Some very familiar cards, such as Force of Will, are in this set. And there's also a special foiling called the Silver Etched Foiling, I believe. Anyway, so all that is to say that I figured it would be a very exciting pack opening as a way to kind of kickstart this channel, to do something spectacular like that. So we've got 3 different, or they're not 3 different, but 3 Strixhaven collector booster packs that we can open today and see, fingers crossed, hope, if you will, that we get something exciting out of these. And so as I open these, maybe I'll give a little bit of a view into some Magic lore or information, if you will. So Strixhaven was a set that came out a number of years ago. It's basically the Harry Potter set of Magic the Gathering. And so you have a school, you have 5 different houses, and each of those houses are kind of the Gryffindor, Hufflepuff equivalent, right? Except in this case, they are backed by a dragon, and that dragon is effectively like the headmaster of the house, right? And the kids come from across the multiverse, I think, to join the Strixhaven, aka Hogwarts curriculum, and increase their skills as wizards and witches, and in byproducts, get themselves into shenanigans as a result, right? So anyway, it's a cool, interesting story. I think there is a lot reminiscent of the Harry Potter type of situation there. But why this particular collector booster is interesting, as I kind of mentioned before, there's a lot of cool and interesting cards and Japanese cards and high rares and mythical archives and things like that. But one other thing that is very noteworthy is that not all collector boosters in different sets have come with unique or interesting things that people want, right? And so Strixhaven has been a very highly sought after set as a byproduct of having such good cards. And so it will be a treat for us to open these, right? Let's start with the first one. Mind you, they did not make this easy by any stretch of the imagination to open. The other thing I'm hoping for here is that the card quality is not bad, right? Because in prior foil printings within Secret Layers, or just foils in general, they haven't been the best with Wizards of the Coast. And so we're hoping for a set that not only has good cards, but good quality printing. And so our first card here is Page Loose Leaf. There's a number of commons here in the beginning of these collector boosters. The second card here is Visionary's Dance. The third card is Wild Hypothesis. Cool. Fourth card here is Expressive Fire Dancer. So we got now move from commons to uncommons. First uncommon is Stand Up For Yourself. The second, and we're going to start putting these into piles now. The second is Aberrant Mana Worm. And so you can kind of already see, by the way, there is a little bit of a curvature to these cards. And so I hope that can be undone. The third card here for an uncommon is Stress Dream. And our first Mythical Archive card is Return the Favor. So this is an uncommon. It is a spree, so you can actually select multiple effects. And so it looks very interesting. Okay, our second Mythical Archive is Duty Beyond Death, also an uncommon, an instant. If I am correct, we should get a Japanese card. Okay. Perhaps after this beautiful foil forest, we should get, I guess not. Dreamroot Cascade is our rare, and so it is a cool dual land that enters tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. However, it is, I think, a very cheap card. Okay, so this is interesting. We've got a mythic here, and I think it comes from one of the commander decks, the Prismari commander deck. Muddle the Ever-Changing, okay. And then we've got our full art card here, which is Flashback. I think that's a great card. Our rare Mystical Archive card is Bring to Light, okay. And then our full art rare is Berta Wise Extrapolator. All right, and so one would call that a bust in the Magic community, because we pulled not very many things of note other than that Flashback card. So let's move on to the next one and see if we fare better in our luck. All right. All right, we're going to quickly get past these ones here. So Potioner's Trove, cool. Landscape Painter, Embrace the Paradox, Rubble Rouser, our uncommons, Lecturing Scorn Mage, Matter Bending Mage, Thunder Drum Soloist. Okay, great. We've got our first Japanese one. I don't know what this is, but it looks very cool. Okay, and our first Mystical Archive card is Pick Your Poison, which is an uncommon. We've got an Island, an Arc of Hunger, which is not a great card, or that expensive, to be honest. Striding Shot Caller is our full art that comes from the Commander deck. Petrified Hamlet is our full art from the set. And Dismember is our rare card from the Mystical Archives. And our final card, oh wow, Emeritus of Woe. Now that is a very good card. That's an excellent card and not too bad with a pringling here. But Emeritus of Woe is effectively a demonic tutor on a creature, right? So with 3 mana and a black, it enters prepared. And at the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more creatures die this turn, this creature becomes prepared. Demonic Tutor allows you to search your library for a card and put that card into your hand and then shuffle. So fantastic card. This is actually quite valuable. So we'll look at this again, quite valuable. Emeritus of Woe, or Emeritus. All right, we are on to the final pack. I don't think this Emeritus of Woe or the Dismember or the Flashback pay for these 3 booster packs by any stretch of the imagination. I could be wrong, but the 3rd pack might be the one that has to seal the deal for us, right? And so that would be great. But regardless, financial value or not, I think it's been a fun opening so far. So the first one is Hydro Channeler, Page Loose Leaf. Now keep in mind, this is just gambling, right? Like, let's be honest with ourselves, this is just gambling. And so when you're gambling, you need to know that by going in, there's a expected value or return of potentially 0, right? And so we're hoping that it's not, but we need to kind of go in with that mindset. And so no matter the outcome, I think it was a fun opening and really cool to see something like this. But there's always kind of the fingers crossed, I hope I get something type of view. So let's keep going. So Eager Glyph Mage, Forum of Amity. As we go into our uncommons, we've got a Rabid Attack. Cool. Inkshape Demonstrator. Tablet of Discovery. Now this one's an interesting one, right? So this is an artifact for 2 and a red. When this artifact enters mill a card, you may play that card this turn. Very cool. Add red as a tap effect. Add double red as a tap effect. Tap this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. So if you look at this, this is kind of a Soul Ring Light in a blue red Spellslinger deck. Very cool. All right, our first Mystical Archive is going to be Knockout Maneuver. Very cool. Our Mystical Archive foil is Return the Favor. Cool. I think we got this earlier. It's a foil version. Plains is our land. So that's nice. We got a 3 for 5 of the lands. Maelstrom Artisan is our rare. Destroy target non-basic land. So that's kind of an interesting effect on this sorcery. Turbulent Step. Okay, that's very cool. So that is a new dual land. I like to call them the Cinnamon Bun lands or Cinnabon lands, just because they all look like cinnamon buns. But it's a very cool land. This land enters tapped unless your opponents control 8 or more lands. So if you think about a game of Commander where you have multiple opponents, 3 or 4 other players, maybe 4 other players, right, in a table of 5, getting to 8 lands is really like a turn 2 situation, right? And so to that end, Turbulent Step coming in untapped for Mountain and Plains is an amazing, amazing card. And the whole cycle is fantastic. All right, our other full art rares, Fix What Is Broken, or What's Broken. Okay, our Mystical Archive Rare foil is Smallpox. Don't know if this is worth anything. We've got a special guests card, Edrix and Nev Twin Casters, which is very cool. Do we have anything else? Nope, that is it. So that brings us to the end of this box opening. We've got quite a few other openings that we'll be looking at. Things like Secret Lairs, right? As well as Draft Night, which also has a collector booster in each of these as well. And then, other interesting things include the Encyclopedia of Magic, also very cool. And I really appreciate you guys going on this journey with me as I look to restart my YouTube channel. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited. And beyond Magic, as I mentioned, we've got technology, we've got Legos, we've got deck techs, we've got books, we've got Dungeons and Dragons, figures, and a number of other curiosities that we can look at together. And I'm very excited to share that with everyone that's interested. And so really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for joining. This has been Rameko.